Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to my small cabin build. This is how it all started. I purchased just under an acre up in the Caribou, BC, and it's so thick you couldn't even walk through. So we rented a machine, got some road base. It was about $300 for the machine, and about 300, 250, 300 for the road base. And he made quick work of pushing in the little driveway and making a slash pile. Here's the base for the cabin that we built. We started out with 2 by 2 square pads, cement pads, and then we put the pier blocks on top. And then what I did with this system here, so you don't need joist hangers or anything, I put the vertical 4x4s and then the horizontal 4x4s. And what I did was I drilled about an inch and a half hole on in the top 4x4, about there's a little more than a quarter inch, so that the head of the bolt will sit below the base of the 4x4, and drilled a pilot hole into the vertical 4x4 that goes into the pier blocks, and just sunk some really big lag bolts into it, as well as I used PL glue. They don't move. It's solid as a rock, and being a 12 by 12 cabin, the span with the 4x4 in the center is only 6 feet. It's rock solid. If you're doing anything larger, you probably have to go to a 2x8. Here's another view of it. Main thing with this is just make sure it's level and square, and then you sheet it and it comes out perfect. Anyway, here's the walls going up. That's the easy part, and it just started pouring. So we kind of called it quits for the day. That was the Saturday. This came up. There's Steve. He's exhausted. He works in construction, and coming up on the weekends to build this is something else. Anyway, there it is. The roof's on. There's the inside before we got anything up on the walls. And I'll show you a bunch of interior shots later. But there's the loft. People got tired of sleeping on the floor, so built a loft and dropped it down. The walls are 8 feet, so I dropped it down. I think 6'7" inside, and so it gave a little more headroom up top. And anyway, there's the shed that we built. Needed some storage up there, so and hired my neighbor. He since passed away to clean up the property. You weren't able to walk through it, but I still have a bit of cleaning up to do. Here's the shed finished, and I got some more road base. It's like $300 a load, but well worth it. And if you look there beside the cabin, that's we started cleaning that up because we're going to do an addition. There it is there. And so I got to take all that siding off, and I got to drop the addition down a bit because I'm going to sister onto the existing rafters. And I need to, there's Steve. We started, if you can see in the background, we started doing the pier blocks again and leveling it. And but we decided to take a bit of a break there. There's the joisting system, same as the cabin. I don't know if you can see there, but it's all treated. If you're 18 inches or less from the ground, you're supposed to use treated. I would have used it anyway, just for the sake of not ever having to worry about it. What I'm going to show you here is a close up of where it attached onto the existing cabin. It drops down about 6 inches. Normally, I wouldn't want step down into an addition, but I needed the extra height to get my 312 pitch. Here's the walls. It's just a 2x4, 16-inch centers. The difference is with this, I dropped down to I think a 6'6" wall height, so I would be able to get my pitch, and threw on some outriggers there to hold the last rafter in place so it doesn't sag when you put the sheathing and roofing on. All you do is cut 2x4 notches into that one rafter, and then it butts into the inside rafter as well as the outside rafter, and it prevents sagging. What I'm showing here is where where I've decided to place a window. So put a header in and framed in for the window. I'll cut it out and put it in, because I hadn't decided when I originally framed the cabin or the addition. I hadn't a clue what I was doing for as far as layout is concerned, where I wanted windows. There's Mr. Happy again, Steve. He came up again for the weekend. I was already up there for about a week. Anyway, you can see the baffles up there. They're just styrofoam spacers that go between the insulation and the roof or underside of the sheathing. Also got the wiring ran, and yeah. Here we are up at the cabin. I'm Steve.
I'm also Steve, I guess.
And we've done the addition, and
we're not done.
We're not done, but we got all the baffles up. Walls are insulated. Still got this to do, this wall. This is where our shower's going. Here's our shower. Arm bit of insulation in there, yeah. Anyway, here we are up at Decker Lake in the cabin. Next thing we did was we cut a hole in the cabin wall. After a little cleanup, there it is. We moved the table over into there and having decided the layout. It never stayed there. But anyway, there's the header. One thing you want to do is make sure after you vapor barriers to tape everything with tuck tape. It just seals everything off quite nicely. Here we are on the roof at the cabin. That's Steve. And I'm also Steve. Usually it's the other way around, but we're up here, we're on the roof. There's a view. There's everything else. We're looking really good. What do you think of roofing, Steve?
Sucks.
It sucks. Yes, it does. It's hard on the knees. Anyway, we're up at the cabin, roofing. This is the addition, almost done. Just waiting for Steve to bring me some more shingles. Anyway, it's all good. There's my gun. That's all I got left to do. Here's the view from on top of the roof at the cabin. See the mountains over there, Carol's place there. And Steve. Well, the roof's done, and I put a gutter up and bought a couple of water totes for collecting rainwater. But we still bring up fresh water. I use the rainwater for showering and dishes. Like I say, I bought two, so we put one in the back of the truck and took it to the lake. We're filling up our tank with water. Anyway, here we are at Deca. Boat launch. Water tank. Well, hey, it's working. Unloading water, pumping the water out into our holding tank. And it's working out really well. Steve's truck. Chad with the generator going.
And mosquitoes everywhere.
Mosquitoes everywhere. The place is a mess right now, but we will clean it up, or I will. Steve's leaving today, go back to the coast. So anyway, it's I'm pretty happy. Filling up the water tank at the cabin. After Steve left, I was finishing up all the wiring and plumbing for the bathroom. There's my setup. I bought a tankless water heater. It runs off the spark runs off D cell batteries and propane, so you don't need electricity. And there's a 12 volt pump. I've got 12 volt running into the cabin. I'll show you that later. Well, here we are, Thursday morning. The generator's going. It rained last night, and but the sun's coming out right there. But what a mess! I gotta clean all this up. But yeah, the water, the rainwater, I figured 200 liters in overnight, or since yesterday. Anyway. The other thing I did, I brought a bunch of old shiplap, or not shiplap, wainscoting up, and they're long enough that I could run them horizontally, and it worked out really well. I had tons of it. A client of mine gave it to me. I like to use recycled materials as much as I can. One, it's really cheap, usually, and saves you a ton of money. And the other thing is it keeps it out of the landfill. Well, here's a wood stove that Tass gave me. What I did for the base is I just did a 1x2 inch, or 1x1.5, I believe, just a piece of wood, and formed up, and then used self-leveling cement. It just took a bag. It gave me about an inch of concrete on the bottom, and I just sunk 4 bricks into it, sat the wood stove on it, moved it around till it was where I wanted it, and left it. Next thing we did is measured out where the chimney's going to go and cut a hole big enough so that it would center in the hole, and then we started sheeting it with cement board. We had to move the stove out of the way first, and then put up some hardy backer, and yeah, and then I actually put some roofing material, tin, galvanized steel, on the wall to the right of the stove, because it got pretty hot, and I just did it for an extra safety precaution. Check it out. We have a fire in our fireplace. So basically the finished room, we haven't put flooring down yet, but turned it into a little living space. Got that futon at Home Depot on a clearance sale, $70. It's a little low and it's not very comfortable, but I'm thinking about putting some blocks in there, but it works. It converts into a bed. And we're doing reclaimed tongue and groove. I had flooded my house, and this was all taken. Sorry about that. Video ended abruptly. Yeah, I had flooded my house, and I took all this tongue and groove out and saved what I could, and dried the rest of it out, and like I said, saved what I could, and it did that wall there. Anyway, well, moving into the kitchen area, I built that portable countertop there for we were doing another project, and we needed a little kitchen space, and anyway, but you see that blue jug there, behind it is an old RV furnace. It's about 12 or 13,000 BTUs, and I got it given to me, and it runs on propane. It works great and keeps the cabin about between 65 and 67 degrees in minus 20 below Celsius weather. Like pretty much runs constantly, but it does keep you warm. But now with the wood stove, it only runs for a couple hours in the middle of the night once the fire dies down. And I put OSB up on the walls, and it was the cheapest. It was about $15 a sheet. It's probably a little more now. And mind you, I haven't bought OSB in a while. But anyway, yeah, I'm just going to throw a coat of paint on it and call it a day. Well, I updated the counter and kitchen, and I made wood curtains out of some old fence boards, as Steve calls them, wood curtains. Anyway, yeah, it worked out well. We put in a new floor. I still haven't painted yet. Painting's not one of my strong points. Anyway, put in a new floor as well, but it's a little dark. Guys like it, but again, I paid $100 for all the flooring for the whole cabin. I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I'm off grid at the cabin there. That's what that extension cord is running through the cabin beside the inlet and exhaust for the little furnace I have. Anyway, yeah, came up in May. It's still a bit of snow on the ground. And Steve came up as well to help me build a deck off the front of the cabin because I just needed more space. We mostly hang out outside when we're up there, so having a deck made sense. We could put the lawn chairs and patio table up there as well. Anyway, I'll show you that video here in a sec. Well, here it is.
Part of it.
Huh?
Part of it.
Yeah, well, we've just got blocking and then one more board to put on the end and then sheet it, and we're good. Well, the blocking's in, everything's buttoned up, it's squared up, ready for the sheeting, and there it is there. The only thing left to do is deck coat it. It just poured again, so won't be able to deck coat it. And Steve had to go again, and like I say, my schedule's a lot more flexible than his. Anyway, so I think he stayed up for another couple of weeks. And but anyway, I'll show you the deck coating. Yeah, I guess before I get too far ahead of myself, I built a railing out of recycled material as well. I think the only thing I had to buy was the 2x4s and the top plate. Anyway, all that cedar, the balusters I got, they started out as 2x8 pieces of cedar, rough cedar that I pulled out of an old building, and I just ripped them into 1.5 inch strips and nailed them up. The next thing I did was the stairs there. I did a demo job, and they said to get rid of the old stair stringers, so I scooped them, knowing that I would use them up at the cabin. Now I'm ready to coat the deck. All I had to do, it's a 3-part system. You do a filler, and then you do a primer, and then you do, or 4-part. You do your filler, your primer, and then you do your membrane, and then your top coat. Next thing I did after that was put the siding up onto the addition, and it's just what I took off the side of the cabin that the addition is attached to. Well, there it is, all the siding's done, and the top gable boards are just recycled fence panel boards. Yeah, the other thing I did was I trimmed out the door and the windows, and it looks fantastic. The on the railing there, those big open spaces, I didn't forget to put balusters in. I put tempered glass from patio doors. I got them for about $20 each. So I think it looks fantastic. Again, recycled material. I think that whole deck railing cost me $50, or no, 40 for the glass. The balusters were free. I think maybe $100 because I had to buy some of the treated wood. Anyway, that's my small cabin built off the grid in the Caribou. Thanks for watching, and interiors next, and other projects.